Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. We are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. Eagles, bye week. The rest of the NFC East, they played. And when you look at what happened, Dallas ended up losing to Pittsburgh, and it was way closer than anyone probably would have imagined. And the New York Giants beat the Washington football team. So here is the current update of your division. The Eagles lead with a 3-4-1 record. Washington 2-6. Dallas 2-7. New York Giants 2-7. And I asked this question. Based off of the results yesterday on Sunday, which was a beautiful day, may I add. All I wanted to do was go to the beach. I'm not going to lie to you. It was so nice, 70-plus degrees, outrageously beautiful. But instead, I was a lazy ass, and I watched Red Zone all day, which I'm okay with as well. But still, I mean, come on, you got to be loving what's happening out there. When you open the damn door to walk the dog, you don't got to worry about putting on 3 jackets. Although I'm a big fan of the cold, it's nice right now. It feels like you're going into spring, except you're going into winter. It makes no sense. I don't know how I got this sidetracked. Getting back to the question. After seeing the results yesterday, do you feel any different about where the Eagles stand? Because I don't. They're 3-4-1. This New York Giants football team, who they play this Sunday, they've been competitive. They've been competing. They've been tough. They're gritty. They're not a walkover type team. You don't just walk over the Giants anymore. They battle, and they want to go to war. I feel that because it happened like it did, the results were what they were, people are already starting to feel more optimistic about the Birds. And I talk about this cycle all the time. You're pissed off on Mondays, you're pissed off the day after the game, and then by the next game, you convince yourself that this team is a totally different team. No. The Eagles are a bad football team right now. They are a bad team. And a lot of it falls on the quarterback. So you can say, well, Brodes, if the quarterback plays better, are they as bad of a team? Well, Washington turned the football over, 5 times? When Alex Smith came into the game, he had, 3 interceptions? That's what it took the Giants to win. Isn't that what Carson Wentz has been giving to you more times than not this season? 2 interceptions, a fumble. That's what he has given to me. I don't think this is him forever. I don't think that this is him long-term for the rest of his career. No, this is a smaller sample size, but it's a stretch of really tough football. And I don't know how good this team is if Carson Wentz even does play a little bit better. There's still flaws in this team. As much as Carson Wentz is the number one criticism, and he deserves to be, there's so many other issues with this squad still. Yeah, the linebacking core isn't as bad because Nate Gerry isn't out there. There's still not a good linebacking core. Who's playing the opposite side of Darius Slay? Yeah, you know what? I'm a fan of Rodney McLeod, but what is Jalen Mills? What is Will Parks? They clearly didn't think that highly of Will Parks because he was on the trading block. Now, he has a role. He has a nice little decent role, but it's not anything significant. Roby Coleman, he's been ass. Crayvon LeBlanc, he hasn't been strong. Like, there's a lot of flaws. Now, Isaac Seumalo being activated, that's big for the offensive line because there's no doubt about it. This offensive line has been waxed and abused throughout this season, and that plays a role with Carson. See, the problem is, whenever I talk about this team, people want to put it into one category of like, okay, well, why is it happening? Why are they playing the way that they are? And then Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson, and clearly they're at the top of the list. But when you start peeling back the layers of this team and this organization right now, it's nonstop. There's so much. It's so many dominoes falling that puts you in the spot that you are at now. I understand why people would feel more optimistic because Isaac coming back. Jalen Reagor getting a game under his belt and then having a couple-week break. Lane Johnson being able to rest his injuries. Like, yes, when you look at it from that side of things, it looks like things will be better. It looks like maybe what the Eagles can provide will be better than what they did throughout the first couple of weeks, throughout the first half of the season. I'll counter that by saying the stretch of games you're about to go on intensifies by maybe 5. The moral of the story is, looking at this division, I don't feel any different than I did before seeing the outcomes, before seeing the Steelers and the Cowboys, before seeing the Giants beat Washington. I feel the same. I feel that this team has a chance based off of maybe beating their division opponents and then winning one game during that stretch. I feel there is an opportunity to win the division, but I don't feel any better about it. Not at all. I saw a Dallas team that actually fought harder than I've ever seen before this season. Maybe that's a little aggressive because there was a time where Dak was playing and, they beat the Atlanta Falcons in this epic comeback. Strong statement, no doubt, but you get my point. You saw a team that was dead in the water and they competed. Now, I don't anticipate the Dallas Cowboys now being a squad that can just win a lot of football games. They got a dude named Garrett playing quarterback who, hell, you might keep him in over Andy Dalton the way he was making some plays, but realistically, that's not winning football. I do need to tip my cap to the effort level, though, because, look, they gave Pittsburgh a run for their money, and Pittsburgh got some help when it came to officiating. I'm not going to lie about that. That fumble should have been Dallas Cowboys football, but somehow they call a flag for some illegal contact downfield, and then boom, it's Pittsburgh's football again. The problem with yelling about Jalen Smith and the roughing the passer call isn't the call. I know a lot of Cowboys fans, and not even Cowboys fans, but football fans who hate to see that be a flag. They're all outraged and upset, and I get why, because that's not football, right? Jalen Smith's hand accidentally taps the face mask of Big Ben as he's throwing the football. That should not be a roughing the passer. It's the problem with the rule book. The problem is the texts. What the NFL puts in their rulebook in the text. Okay, if you touch the quarterback's face, if you hit him in the head, it's going to be a flag. So it's not the referee's fault for actually calling it. It's the league's fault for implementing it to that degree throughout all of their referees and throughout their rulebook as a whole. So I don't have a problem with the refs calling that. I have a problem with the league telling the refs to call that. They technically made the right call. That was a flag by the letter of the law. It shouldn't be, though. And I can understand that argument. I can understand that side of things. The fumble, though, that was a big play. Big difference maker. It felt the whole way that Dallas was going to find a way to win, no? Whether it was blocking, getting a big block with the kick. Everything seemed to go Dallas's way except for those calls. But in terms of the overall play of the game, the feel, the momentum, it was like, wow, Dallas actually has something here. They're grinding away. I'm not telling you it was beautiful football by any means, but you had some plays, Garrett, CeeDee Lamb. You saw some moments like, wow, really? They're really still doing this? Because you thought at one point, once they were up 13-0, you're like, okay, Pittsburgh will settle in. They'll play their game. Big Ben goes down. He's holding the knee. Rudolph. Oh, really? Just to spice things up a bit, it would be the year where Pittsburgh 7-0 goes into Dallas and loses. To make Dallas, what would they have been? They would have been 3-6. 3-6? Because they're 2-7 right now? Yeah, 3-6. Competing up against the Eagles, who would have been 3-4-1 at the time. Just to keep things interesting, that would have been the way it went down in 2020. But Pittsburgh did grind it out, did get a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster had a big game, and luckily they did put the Cowboys away. I was getting anxious, though. Everyone thought, while they were sitting watching that game, Dallas is going to win. I know it. I know they were. Don't lie to me. You felt that way. You did. I'm not the only one. There's no way I was the only one. And then you go to what happened with the Giants. 23-20. The Kyle Allen injury, it was so gruesome. I can't stand watching stuff like that. I was watching college football on Saturday. Very similar play in that Clemson game. Clemson-Notre Dame, I believe. Oh, no. Georgia-Florida, I think it was. I think that was the Georgia-Florida game where someone's ankle turned the wrong way. And, And Alex Smith had to come in. He threw a couple interceptions. So, he looked rough at the end there, throwing a couple brutal ones. The Giants, they're a competitive squad. But I just feel, what if Washington won that game? Now, losing Kyle Allen, I don't know. How much does that mean? Because it's not as if Kyle Allen is some special quarterback that would have been a real difference in what this Washington football team really is. But if they would have won that game, they would have been sitting at 3-5. And in the back of my mind, I've been thinking about this season and what it could possibly be. And that last game of the season would be Washington in Philadelphia. And I always thought somehow, some way, it's going to go to that game. It's going to come down to that game somehow for the division. But that loss was brutal, and losing the quarterback is brutal. Not that Kyle Allen was anything crazy, but it does add context to what that team really is all about. They're going to Alex Smith. You're thinking about, you just drafted Dwayne Haskins. What's the deal with that? Could he be any worse than Alex Smith? It's a big-time mess in that organization, and I don't know how it's going to change. You thought Ron Rivera would change it, and it seems it follows that franchise for now. It's hard to change a culture and change a whole identity within 9 weeks of a football season, so I totally comprehend that. There's still looming black clouds, though, surrounding FedEx Field, if you will. So it was a fun day all around the league. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed the day off. I didn't have to be anxious. I didn't have to be nervous. I needed a break. I did. The players need breaks because they're physically fatigued and they're emotionally fatigued and they need to regroup. So do I, damn it. So do I. They put us through hell. They put us through emotional ups and downs and brutal press conferences and horrendous play and bad drives and awful football and embarrassing drives. You know what? I deserve the week off. I took it as a player. I think I actually, how players will have a big bag of ice taped to their legs, or they'd have some sort of masseuse giving them a massage. That's how I was watching the game. I went down at 1 o'clock, threw on Red Zone. I had 2 bags of ice taped to my legs. I had one of those pouches filled with ice on my forehead for the emotional support side of things. I was acting as if I was going through the bye week, regrouping my body and my mind to attack the New York Football Giants. And I can't wait for a podcast I'm about to record either tomorrow morning-ish or so. And I put this in the community page on my YouTube channel. You can actually still call in. I would love to hear your thoughts if you haven't already. The Anytime Hotline is flooding with calls. The phone number is 856-442-9805. We will intensify the Carson Wentz conversation because, why the hell not? He's such a conversational piece, and he's very controversial right now. If I gave you 2 options, and there's no in-between, you are 100% in on Wentz for the second half, or you are 100% out on Carson Wentz for the second half. I want to know why and which one you choose, of course. So once again, you can call in 856-442-9805. We have a ton of calls already, and that is going to be my next podcast. But I thought today it would be fun to kind of react around the league, look at where the NFC East is right now, and just enjoy the day of football, because there's not many times where you get to enjoy it. You're either at 1 o'clock having Red Zone off to the side while watching the Eagles on the full screen, so it's somewhat there, but you don't really get to embrace all of the action that's occurring. Or the game's at 8 o'clock, so while you're watching the 1 o'clock games, you're watching, you're embracing it, but you're thinking about, okay, what's going to happen? What's Doug Peterson going to do? What's the matchups that I like? So you don't get the same feel when the team is absolutely off. And it's funny, there's a lot of people that hate it, and normally I do. Normally I hate it. I want football. I want it to be there. I can't stand not having the Eagles on Sunday. I bitch and complain when they play on Thursday that I want them to play on Sunday. I hate Monday because it doesn't have the same power as it used to before. Monday Night Football would be the Sunday Night Football. So when your team was playing in that type of action, when the lights were on, it was Monday Night Football, it was amazing because it was the hot item. Now it's on ESPN with some brutal broadcasts, although they've done a better job this year. Still feels collegey, but way better than Tessitore and what they put together with Booger and the Booger Mobile. Remember that brutal concept they went with? Ugh, awful. It's just better, not great, but better. Growing on me, better, not great. This week, though, and this just shows you, I feel, how I am emotionally with this team. I was cool with it. And you must be that horrendous for me to be cool with it. I appreciated it. I loved it. A weekend without Eagles football, and I loved it. Once again, it just describes to you what they put me through every single week. All right, before we attack some of the other storylines throughout the league, autumn is in the air, and Manscaped is here to ensure you don't carve your pumpkins when you're grooming. And by pumpkins, we actually mean your boys downstairs. In fact, Manscaped is on a mission to change the way you approach caring for your balls. And great news, they just released their product in the UK, Canada, and Australia. There is nothing worse than using any other razor out there outside of the Lawnmower 3.0, of course, and you're shaving. Ow! No! You cut yourself. There's blood involved. You're thinking, come on, man. Did this really happen? You don't need to worry about that with the Lawnmower 3.0 because it has a replaceable ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology, which helps reduce your grooming accidents. They also have their new Weed Whacker, which is an ear and nose hair trimmer, which uses the same skin-safe technology. So you have those delicate nose hairs of yours perfectly fine. The crop care kit includes the crop preserver, which is ball deodorant. Everyone knows pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant goes hand in hand. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free. So once again, you get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I have all of these products, and when I tell you they are magnificent, it's unbelievable. It's almost too good to be true. And I tell everyone who asks, because there's people, Brodes, how is it? Is it as great as it sounds? Absolutely. I guarantee it. It is one hell of a product. The Lawnmower 3.0, that is. But when you can look at all of the others as well, which I utilize almost every single day, there's no such thing as a bad Manscaped product. Go to manscaped.com. Check it out. Promo code Brodes. Sunday Night Football. Whoa, I did not expect that to happen. Did anybody? Wow. Tom Brady gets smacked. 38-3, bad interceptions. Wow. And the way that I look at it is, I thought the Saints played a great game, of course. Drew Brees, Taysom Hill being utilized in this crazy way. They had everything rolling. The defense was magnificent. Their defense was lethal. All around, when you look at the film from the Saints, stellar performance. But I love Tom Brady. I love greatness. I love his attitude. I love that he doesn't shake Nick Foles' hands. Everyone's so fascinated with, oh, look, he's shaking Drew Brees' hand, even though that he lost. Oh, he won't shake Nick Foles. Good. That's the type of mindset he has, and I appreciate the hell out of him. If he was a guy who shook Nick Foles' hand, he wouldn't be the same type of guy in my eyes. He wouldn't be the same type of competitor. He doesn't need to shake anyone's hand, but he chooses to do it with certain people. Doesn't want to do it with Nick Foles. Fine, that's fine. I don't know why it bothers people so much. The fact that he shook Drew Brees' hand last night, it took everyone by storm, taking pictures, tweeting it up. Oh, if this was Nick Foles. Shut up about it. Please get over it. My God, get over it. Being on the other end of this, though, 38-3. There was speculation about Antonio Brown, how that would be utilized in this offense, what type of What type of offense could they be? How explosive would it be? And what? 3 points is what they got? They got a lousy field goal late in the game, which meant nothing. It was more of a, hey, we didn't get shut out type of move. And the fact that Tom Brady, considering he played in the AFC East, you need to value what type of opponents were there and what those franchises were like at the time. But he hasn't been swept by a division team. That hasn't been a thing for him in years. Years. He leaves town, goes to the NFC South, boom, swept by the New Orleans Saints. So I bring this all together, and I keep bringing up Tom Brady because I know how much this is going to eat him alive. He probably didn't even sleep. Let's be realistic. Did Tom Brady sleep last night at all? No way. He was either watching film or just closed his eyes, stared at the ceiling while doing it, and replayed all the plays in his head. I can't wait to see how this drives him and drives this team to be better. This isn't the same Tom Brady that we saw in New England. Fair. We're also not seeing the same New England team without Tom Brady. Fair. And that's why I'm almost so much more intrigued by all of these games that New England plays and that Tampa Bay plays. I'm a huge Tom Brady supporter. I don't care that he played in New England. I don't care about his championships, and everyone's all pissed off. Well, why do you want a guy to keep winning? Why wouldn't I want a guy to keep winning? He's the best quarterback we've ever seen. Ever. 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 I don't think that there's ever going to be anyone who tops what he has brought to the table. So from one of the most intense athletes that we've ever seen, how does he react? How does he respond? We all watched The Last Dance during COVID, right? During the actual sitting at home period. What's the word? Quarantine period. I don't even know the word I'm looking for. But when we were trapped in our own homes, no sports were on. All we had was The Last Dance. Michael Jordan was making up stories in his brain to piss him off, to motivate him to go up against an opponent, the poor opponent, that had no business ever being involved in a scenario where Michael Jordan looked at him as, I got to attack. It's a different type of breed with their mindsets. Tom Brady is at that level. 38-3 is a beatdown. It's an embarrassment. Did I say NFC South, by the way? Yeah, I did say NFC South, right? Yeah, okay. I don't know why I just thought about that maybe 3 minutes later. I didn't know if I said AFC South, NFC South. If I said AFC South, I apologize. I think I said NFC South. That was seriously 5 minutes ago, though. My brain is an interesting cat, no doubt about it. People talked about this game like it was going to possibly be the game of the year. And I thought it had the chance to be. And as I'm watching 7-0, 14-0, 21-0, whoa. What's next? The way I saw New Orleans dance in the locker room afterwards, it looked like they won the Super Bowl. Sean Payton dancing, all these guys dancing. How are they going to respond? Is it too much of a high? I think it's possible that it was too much of a high. All right, what else happened? Dalvin Cook. 206 yards rushing, 46 yards receiving. This dude is explosive. Not that that's breaking news. I think we all knew how explosive he was, but he's getting injured. He's getting banged up. He's not fully there. Vikings are an interesting team. They have the talent. We all look at them as a team that can win games on Sunday. They just haven't really put it together yet. But it's not like you go into Minnesota or you go into a game against Minnesota, whether it's in your house or in their house, and you automatically assume, well, that's a victory. It's not playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not playing one of those teams. It's not playing the New York Jets. They have a bunch of talent. They just can't seem to really put it together. And Dalvin Cook is putting the team on his back. And you're seeing him make some of these plays where your jaw drops to the floor. Holy shit, is he doing this again? Hitting these gaps, shifty as hell, while Adrian Peterson is on the other side, probably thinking to himself, wow, hold on a second. Is that what I look like in my prime in that purple? Because that's outstanding. That's outrageous. He's almost appreciating it. There was a clip of him on the bench. They showed him where he was sitting there, he like winked over to the sideline area. It looked like, I don't know if he was winking over to Dalvin Cook, but he was on the bench. He winked over when Dalvin Cook was pulled out of the game, almost appreciating what he brought to the table that game. Electric. That's the best way to describe what Dalvin Cook provided for that team. Electric. And real quick on that Sunday Night Football game, by the way, 5 rushes for Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay. So you thought Doug Peterson forgot what it was like to run the football. Oh, geez, I wonder what they're talking about in Tampa today. Although, who the hell actually cares about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I don't think they have any fans whatsoever. Baltimore. Baltimore beats the Colts. There is obviously an issue, though, with Lamar Jackson. Like, I don't feel good about Lamar Jackson to this point. He hasn't taken the proper steps that I think he needs to take. They keep winning. Their defense is special. That fumble that they forced on Jonathan Taylor early in the game, that spun the direction. Now, the controversial interception call that John Harbaugh actually threw the red flag for, I like that it was called an interception, because if that was a play where it was a receiver, caught the ball, took 3 steps, and then lost possession, it would be a catch and then a fumble. Well, people are complaining that he didn't have control and he lost control. He didn't go down with it. No. He caught the football, had control, took some steps. The steps were backwards, but he did take steps while catching the football. I don't have a problem with the interception call, although the outrage is clearly going against how I feel about it. I could totally see the NFL, at times, it's so wonky. You never understand how they come up with the decisions that they do throughout the replay. But that interception by Baltimore, I didn't really have that much of an issue with it. I understand their philosophy. He caught the football. He took football steps, which makes it a football move. And then he lost possession after having possession and making a couple steps. It's just not the same as a receiver doing it. You change it around and it's a receiver taking 3 steps forward. It's the same exact thing. So I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with Phil Rivers falling over and not wanting to make a tackle at 40-something years old when Baltimore scores a touchdown on that Jonathan Taylor play. The Colts, they struggle at times. They have a great defense, and that forced Baltimore to be a little funky offensively, but they had enough to pull it out. Baltimore did. They were praying that Pittsburgh was going to lose to Dallas because that would help make out the difference in that division. And keep in mind, you only have the limited buys this year. It's not the same as before when it comes to the playoff format. So it's going to be really big to get that bye. Baltimore's missing something, though. I know it's crazy when you look at their stats and points per game and this record that they're having, scoring points, 20-plus points in specific games in a row. Like, you look at them, but something's off. There's no doubt about it. When you watch Baltimore and their offense, something is off, and it starts with Lamar Jackson. It starts with Lamar Jackson. Can you win with that type of style legitimately? I don't know. And you saw a similar battle when it comes to quarterback play in the afternoon games, the late afternoon games, the 4:25 games. Tua, Kyler Murray. That was fun. That was electric. Kyler Murray rushing for 106 yards, also throwing the football well. Tua making plays using his legs as well. It was just back and forth action between Miami and Arizona. Miami's defense creating some turnovers for them. Their defense just continues to create turnovers. That was so much fun. It sucks that it came down to missing a field goal late in the game for Arizona, which it bursts the bubble. These two are going back and forth, putting up points, getting touchdowns, and then here's an opportunity for Arizona to make a little bit of splash and to get some points up on the board. Missed field goal changes everything, and that's why, look, they're so crucial. They're a big part of the game, yet they're not football players at the same time. Imagine being a kicker, missing a big-time kick, and you got to go back in the locker room with all these big-ass football players afterwards and go, yeah, you know what, that was on me. Oh, you think? You think? Not that was a win or loss type field goal late, but it was significant, obviously, to the outcome. It was significant to what each team was able to do down the stretch. I mean, it changes play calls. It changes the usage of timeouts. It changes literally everything. But the battle between those two were insane. The Dolphins are 5-3. Do they have a chance to make the playoffs in the AFC East? Do they actually have an opportunity? I don't think they're going to beat the Bills as the Bills go out and take care of business against Seattle. You have Russell Wilson throwing a couple interceptions. See, this is where, I think it's fair to rip Carson Wentz apart, but I hate this comment here. Good quarterbacks don't make those mistakes. Good quarterbacks don't mess up. Good quarterbacks don't miss throws. Well, I've definitely seen Russell Wilson throw a handful of interceptions throughout the last couple of games. I'm like, oh, remember when Russell Wilson throwing some interceptions? Good quarterbacks do make bad mistakes. Here he is, lobbing it up in the end zone, and it was an easy pick, no-brainer pick. That's all, and I'll get more into that when I get into this Carson Wentz podcast, no doubt about it, but it's just something I hate that comment. Good quarterbacks don't miss. Really, when Pittsburgh played Tennessee, how many interceptions did Big Ben throw? These quarterbacks are throwing interceptions, and they are missing throws. The glasses and the binoculars that make you feel that Carson Wentz can't miss any throws ever is ridiculous. He does miss it to way more of a degree than it's allowed, but to say he's never allowed to ever make a mistake is where the extreme comes into play, because I watch all around the league, and all these good teams, these playoff teams, they make mistakes all the time. It's just not criticized and heavily discussed to the same level because, well, it's not Carson Wentz and it's not the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chiefs held on to beat Carolina. McCaffrey coming back, although I saw something this morning, I believe, about maybe a shoulder injury, so that would absolutely suck. But Carolina, Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Rule, that team, they legit go out there and leave everything out there. I love what Matt Rule has done with that program. They gave the Chiefs everything that they could handle. Chiefs had to squeak one out. Now, great teams find ways to win, but you need to appreciate what Matt Rule has done with Carolina with that team. They would not stop. It's late in the game, rolling downfield, Teddy Bridgewater throwing these balls, outstanding catches from the wide receiver core from Christian McCaffrey, laying out, going out and grabbing the football, nonstop, everything they have until the whistle blows. You got to appreciate it. They went for what? Was it like a 60-plus yarder to try and get the win? It wasn't close. I think at that point you just give yourself the chance. In terms of I support the kick, give them a chance. I know it's a reach, but you're not going to get it realistically with a Hail Mary either. So just try the field goal. They went for it. It was wide right. It wasn't really close, but you got to tip your cap to Carolina fighting and battling through. I wonder how long the Chiefs can get away with sort of just flowing through until they get to the postseason, because that's what it feels like. It feels like they're just going with, hey, let's just keep playing and see what happens until we get to the postseason, because that's when we're going to take the next step. What else happened? The Chargers on the reverse call at the end. Poor Chargers. Every time they get to the end, they have a chance in the red zone. Something happens. Justin Herbert is a super fun player, and to be honest with you, he kind of reminds me of Carson Wentz a bit with some of the plays that he makes. It's kind of scaring me, not going to lie. And then Nick Foles in that disturbing, ugly, hideous Bears offense. You want Nick Foles back? I'll take this version of 3-4-1 Carson Wentz over anything that Nick Foles has given the Chicago Bears team since he started, other than that one half where he had 3 touchdowns. Other than that, he's been abysmal. That offense sucks. Matt Nagy sucks. Nick Foles stinks. Just reality. I need to let you know about my friends at DraftKings. DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sports book based right here in the U.S., so you can rest assured your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdrawal at your convenience. Listen to this deal. It's a no-brainer. All new users have a chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 when downloading the app and signing up using promo code BRODES, BRODES. Check out all that they have to offer, including player props, live betting, and so much more. If sports books are not yet available in your state, don't forget about the DraftKings Fantasy app, which offers millions of dollars in total prizes every week. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Lastly, if you are looking to upgrade your home, you have to utilize Orbit Energy and Power. Not only can they provide solar energy to your home or company, they also can provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. Tree removals, electrical upgrades. They provide outstanding service, best in class when it comes to work, when it comes to professionalism, when it comes to cleaning up, you name it. Orbit Energy and Power provides so much for not only your home, but for your family. When you talk about going solar, $0 electric bills, and the state and federal funds all help. If you just want to talk to someone and learn more about solar, all the information is down below. You have to utilize Orbit Energy and Power when upgrading your home. All right, so there was a look around the league. I had fun with it. Not going to lie. I had fun, a little break from Eagles football. I needed that break from Eagles football. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.